It's the battle for the bragging rights of Orange County, the North versus the South, a rematch of the 1982 Pony Bowl. Stay tuned for exciting junior college football on your Fullerton College television network. Fullerton College Television presents Hornet Football. Today, the 1984 Pony Bowl. The matchup, the Fullerton College Hornets versus the Saddleback College Gauchos. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to LaBarge Stadium on a great, beautiful afternoon, December 1st here at, should be a great game. Lon Bronk along with you, Jeff Barton here also, and we should have a good one today between two of the finer junior college football teams in the state of California.
It's interesting that the two of them are so good in Orange County also. And so it's the Orange County bragging rights, two powerhouses. It should be a real exciting game.
Well, a 9-1 Saddleback Gauchos under Ken Swearingen. The Mission Conference champs have changed a little bit in their offensive scheme this year, Jeff.
Well, they're going back to a lot of what Coach Swearingen did when he was at El Camino before he came to Saddleback, and they're throwing the ball more. So instead of the balanced attack they've been known in the past, they have a one-dimensional one more toward the passing game.
And the Fullerton College Hornets 9-1 on the season, co-champs of the Super Conference. They're calling it the Pac-9, and they come in here with a good balance on offense and a good defensive structure.
Really tough to defend because they run the ball so well. They've got two rushers in Chuck Ray and Damon Swayze over 1,400 yards, and Rocky Mouw's throwing the ball real well, so they're really tough to stop.
Well, let's take a look at some numbers, and the offensive comparisons between these two teams may give us some indication of what we might expect today. And what do you see out of that, Jeff?
Well, I think the main thing to look at is one-dimensional. We were talking about in the passing. For Saddleback, they have 191, but only 118 yards on the ground, and that's been a big difference for them. One-dimensional teams normally don't do as well, but I think it's really interesting to see the points. 35 points a game for the Hornets and 24 points for the Gauchos. That is a big difference. That's 10 points a game, and you always want to be 10 points ahead when the game ends up, don't you?
It always makes it better for you. We'll take a look at defensive comparisons. Two fine defensive teams, and again this year doing a great job against the rush.
Both teams, as you said, are excellent against the rush. They're very good defenses, very strong. Gauchos like to move some of their players around a little bit differently, try to give different looks, as do the Hornets. I think when you look at the points per game, they're pretty even, although Saddleback has given up less, 10 points, but they give up a lot of yards. They have a rubber band defense that just doesn't seem to break because they get down in that goal line, and the Gauchos have one of the best goal line defenses around.
So they give you some yardage in the middle, but not too much at the end. And another stat that quite often is interesting, margin of victory, the Hornets 19+ over their opponents, and Saddleback College 13+, so about a touchdown difference there.
Well, as we talked before about giving up points and being able to get them, that's a big difference. Fullerton really has a powerful offense. We saw the turnover ratio on there too and saw that Fullerton was so much more ahead there. That really is going to be interesting to see because their defense gets turnovers, gets off the field, and that gives them rest. The Gauchos can't afford to have their defense on the field very long today.
And turnovers often find yourself in a good field position too, because unfortunately for the offensive team, when they turn the ball over, about half the time it's in their own end of the field. That gives the other team great field position, and neither team can afford to do that today.
That's really true, and the Gauchos are a very opportunistic team. They will score when their defense gives them the ball, especially when it's in good field position, and that's a mark of a good team. So though they don't get a lot of turnovers, they do cash them in.
Let's see if we can pick up the coin flip down here on the field. Referee Lee Phelps.
Now let's make sure we communicate.
Have a little electronic problem down there. Hope we can get the coin flip in there.
That's the center. That's the center. Tail. Who's going to?
Well, Well, Lee Phelps down there with the other officials for today's game, having a little trouble down there with the coin flip underway. The Gauchos and balloons flying here at LaBarge Stadium. And the results of the coin flip still not announced. I believe the Saddleback will defend to the right side.
Okay.
Hornets will be on your left. Fullerton College will receive to your left, Saddleback on the right-hand side. They're in their gold and kind of a crimson color. Great uniforms for both. The Hornets, the visiting team today, the Gauchos, the home team. And again, it's a matchup. This Saddleback Gaucho team, loser of the last 2 Pony Bowls, Jeff Barton. They've got a lot to prove today here in 1984.
They come into the game with everything to win and nothing to lose. They lost in '82 against the Hornets in the first ever meeting between the two, and there had been a lot of friction between the two clubs, a lot of talking back and forth. And then last year, of course, they got beat by Cerritos too, which was a runner-up to Fullerton. So they come in wanting to really get the bragging rights back in Orange County to prove that they are the quality football team that their records have shown, regardless of what the conference says.
And folks have been saying the mission not quite as tough as a Pac-9, so a victory today would, well, put a little bit of end to all of that. So that would be a lot of things going on, players who played together in high school too. So there's a lot of things happening down on the field. Sit back, relax, hope we bring it to you, and enjoy junior college football at its best. As we said, 2 of the finer football teams in the nation, and 2, Hal Scherbeck being the #1 active JC football coach in the nation and winning. Ken Schweringer, #3, so we got the right people at the helm too. Number 73, Tracy Rutkowski, kicking off for the Gauchos. To your right for the Hornets, John Green, Damon Swayze back at the goal line, just about underway. The 1984 Pony Bowl. And Damon Swayze from the 7. Knocked out of bounds, good defensive play. The Hornets will start their first offensive possession from about the 22-yard line.
Here we get a chance to see the Hornets as they stack up offensively. Rocky Mouw at quarterback, Swayze and Prisborowski, of course, are the running backs. Nash and Pernell Sullivan are wide receivers, although Pernell Sullivan does have a little bruised shoulder. We're not sure how long he's going to be able to stay in there.
Offensive line for the Hornets, and it's a good one. Knutzen, Shermer, Katnick, Wade, and Scherer with tight end Ray Skinner. See a lot of Bob Garcia. First play from the 22-yard line. Mouw at the helm, Nash to the top of your screen. Aaron Grimm to the bottom. Sullivan with a little bit of an injury problem. Jeff will tell you about that. Mouw back to throw on the first possession, and to Kenny Nash, 12 yards, a first down, up to the 34-yard line. So a nice little out pattern for the Hornets on first down. Defensively for the Gauchos, and they have a good one. Wilkerson, Peel, Castle, Mission Conference Defensive Player of the Year, Van Skyke, and Lehman. That's the up front. The guys in the back worrying about Rocky Mouw. It's Pa'u'u, Hess, Williams, Roman, Roberts, and Lamode. They'll have their hands full with record-setting performer Rocky Mouw, 1,974 yards on the year. The Hornets switching now. Swayze in the eye. First and 10. Swayze up the middle. Good blocking. Nice gain of about 5 yards.
So far, the Gauchos have not come out with the nickel defense that the Hornet staff is expecting them to see. Their run defense has been pretty strong. The Hornets felt, though, that they could come in and run right at the Gaucho defense, that was a way to be able to attack it as far as just play power football. This is a classic day and some classic football we're going to get to see then.
See the referees, Encinas, Nix, and Lee Phelps there. A little bit of trouble with audio. Sorry, Lee. There's your debut, Castillo and Oscar Bean. Good officials for this 1984 Pony Bowl. Second down for the Hornets. Swayze off the left side. No room there. Back maybe a gain of a yard. That's just about all. Saddleback brings up the first third down conversion. Yepi Pa'u'u from the linebacker position firing in there to help, along with Conference Player of the Year in the Mission Conference, Eric Van Skyke.
Yepi Pa'u'u is considered by the Saddleback coaches to really be their most versatile player. We'll see him line up at either strong side outside linebacker or weak side. He'll be all over the field for him.
3 out of that front 7 are freshmen, so they're in the thick of it today. Third down, about 3. Now under pressure, ball loose, Saddleback has it. First turnover of the game, and it's a big one. Hornet territory. The Gauchos will start off in great shape at about the 34-yard line, Jeff.
Well, you get a chance to see the replay. Rocky couldn't find his first receiver, tried to step up, and he just got hit, and the ball gets knocked loose. Big break for the Gauchos to start the game off early. They've got great field position.
That'll bring that Gaucho offense on the field, and they have a record-setting performer of their own at quarterback, Mike Douglas. Salinas and Brown should start in the backfield 32 and 44, but expect to see a lot of different sets. 1st and 10 from the 35 into Hornet territory. Schmidt in motion. He goes over here on a running back screen. Good yardage on 1st down. Good play. Jason Schmidt out of the backfield. You'll see a lot of that today. A gain of 12 yards. 1st down, about the 23-yard line. Nice call on 1st down.
It was a very good call. Fullerton has a tendency to be able to blitz, and you'll see the blitz come here with Fullerton. They bring him outside, and the outside, there's no one there. The linebacker's responsible for him, and he's blitzing. And they have that tendency. They picked it up very well.
Tackle made by Robbie Van Vliet, but not before the Gauchos open up with a 1st down. 23-yard line, just underway, 1st quarter of play. No score. Schmidt in motion. You'll see a lot of that today to the right side. Marshall back to throw, under pressure, has a man open and complete at the 10-yard line. The Gauchos on the move. Wide receiver, number 23, Jack Sussenyar, did a nice job to get it open, and Douglas had a lot of time.
Well, when you see that little semi-roll, that's out of respect to the Fullerton defense because they do blitz a lot. We'll see him move out. He moves to his right there. He can't find his first receiver because he is covered, and he waited long enough for the receiver on the outside to come back in and open up.
The Gauchos decided underdogs in this game. Would love to get the first 7 points here off the turnover from Rocky Mouw. Douglas has Cage in motion. Back to throw again, has a man open towards the corner, but can't quite pick it up. Going over there for the tight end on that side, number 82, Tony Palomera, a man who has caught quite a few balls from the tight end position, 16 for the year, and pretty good coverage, but open just for a second.
It would have taken a great catch. We're going to see Todd Harrington for the Hornets, number 45, be on him, and Todd has his back to the ball. It takes a great pass there, and it just didn't quite work out for him.
Right at the corner, so that'll bring up a 2nd down. I believe the 1st down is right before the goal line at the 1-yard line. Gauchos now in a shotgun. Marshall back to throw. He's got a man open, number 32, John Salinas. Touchdown, Saddleback.
That again was a really good call, an example of what we expect to see today from the Gauchos, is sending their backs out of the backfield. Fullerton's going to have to make sure that their linebackers are picking up those backs as they go out. On that play, of course, he was wide open. There was nobody within 15 yards of him. He could have taken a wheelchair into the end zone that time.
John Lemaire, number 75, in for the point after attempt. So here at the 12-minute mark of the 1st period of play, that turnover cashed into 6 points. Lamar trying to make it 7. Kick away, and is good. 12 of 12 for Lamar on the season. Welcome to the 1984 Pony Bowl. 7-0 Saddleback, and that's what they needed to do, Jeff. Coming in as decided underdogs. Here's the replay.
Well, we get a chance to see it here. Of course, when you've got the backs in your backfield and they come back outside, it's really tough to follow them. And in this case, Salinas was wide open. There you see him. No one was near him. Got a nice block from his wide receiver on the outside.
Fullerton defense appeared to be a little bit confused in a couple of those plays, Jeff. A little bit early. Saddleback may have come out with a couple sets they had not seen earlier in the season.
Well, actually, the sets are the same. I haven't seen the scouting report with Fullerton. The sets are not different, but they are throwing to their backs more, and that's just a good adjustment by the Gauchos staff to realize that that's where you have to beat them. To stop that blitz from coming in, then you send receivers out who are supposed to be covered by those blitzing linebackers.
Well, we're right back to where we were before, except the Gauchos now leading just a couple minutes, and they're up 7-0. Again, Rutkowski to John Green at the 3. He drops it, picks it up. Green fights his way up to the 14, a Gaucho team that appears to be fired up for this game.
Well, you hear a lot on broadcasts about momentum, and it really is important, especially in a football situation. And in this case, the Gauchos came in with probably more momentum than the Hornets did, and this to get a quick score off a turnover and then to get a kickoff that's only come back to the 13 or 14, Fullerton's going to have to put a sustained drive here to be able to quiet this crowd down.
Well, a little bit early to panic here for the Hornets, of course, but it's great for the Gauchos. They needed to show they could do something, and already on that first drive, they came up with the necessary points. Mouw, 1st and 10 from the 14-yard line. Swayze in motion, pitch to Swayze off the left side. He's hit initially, fights back to the line of scrimmage, but maybe a gain of 1, perhaps nothing at all. Number 67, James Castle. Number 57, Jay Wilkerson in there early.
We're seeing an example of why the Gaucho defense gave up even less yards on the ground than the Hornet defense did, which is a feat in itself, seeing as how the Hornets were #1 in the Pac-9 against the rush. But they do a good job of pursuing, and they do a very good job of penetration. We saw that on that play.
2nd down. Let's make it 10 yards. Mouw with Swayze in the eye. Nash and Sullivan, it looks like, is in there now. No, it isn't Sullivan. Swayze knocked down. Swayze for about a loss of 3. The Gauchos are coming off the ball in a big hurry.
Well, we saw Pau come in through there again. He blitzed up through the middle. They are doing a lot more stunning than they have before. We're going to get a chance to see it. As the ball goes back here to Damon, Pau slips right through there off the guard center gap, which is called the 1 gap, and really did a nice job of stunning.
Swayze comes into the game today as a #1 Hornet rusher. 4.8 yards per gain. 3rd down right now, and about 13 to go for Rocky Mouw. Hornets play it safe and go outside to Swayze, but he has a hole. He pops to the outside. 1st down, 31-yard line. Nice blocking on that side. Good choice by Damon Swayze. He popped to the outside and picked up the necessary yardage.
Well, you see that on the 3rd down and long, the Gauchos came in with their nickel defense, which is a five defensive backs. They take out a linebacker, and then they put in another defensive back. So against that, the run is open, and it's a nice one. We see Damon make a nice break right here out to the outside. Picks up a couple blocks. Great run, and they got a new set of downs.
They pulled to guard David Wade that time, and he made the important block on the defensive end over there. Open that hole up for Damon Swayze. 1st down and 10 for the Hornets. 31-yard line, their own territory. 10 minutes and 39 seconds to go here. 1st period of play. Mouw, plenty of time. Over the middle, that'll be intercepted. Into Hornet territory at the 40. 2nd turnover for the Hornets. Mark Roberts with the interception, his 4th interception of the year. Right back into Hornet territory one more time.
On that type of play, they didn't have 5 defensive backs in, but Roberts is playing the free safety. He's playing the center field position. He's just out there waiting, and Rocky waited a little bit too long to throw that ball. I don't think he saw the defensive back there. I don't think he saw the safety. He wouldn't have thrown it. You see, he has a lot of time. He moves out a little bit, throws across. Roberts steps right in front.
Mike Douglas and his troops back at it with Salinas and Brown in the backfield. Switching now into an eye. Back to throw. Douglas on a quick hitter looking for Sussenjar, but can't quite come up with the ball. That'll bring up a 2nd down and 10. Inside the 40, actually closer to the 39-yard line. And field position is so important, and great field position on 2 successive possessions for the Gauchos. There's the Gaucho receivers: Douglas, Salinas, Brown, Sussenjar, and Cage. That's the guys that'll get the ball and throw it around, but the guys who are providing the wall of offense, we'll get that offensive line as soon as we can. There it is. Palomera, Eachus, Candy, Leota, Frederick, and Duran. 2nd down and 10. The Gauchos, they want to throw back in a shotgun. High snap, but ball loose to looking for Schmid. The ball popped up. Hornets couldn't quite come up with it. That'll bring up a 3rd down. That's a dangerous kind of play. If the Hornets pick it up, nothing but some green and brown turf in front of them.
Well, they're planning on that right there as we get a chance again to look at the, looks like defensive line. They leave the defensive end for the Hornets free to come, and they're planning on the fact they're going to throw right over the top of him. In that case, it didn't work out the way they wanted to because he had to throw it so much higher, even their own receiver couldn't get up and get it. But the Hornets were still there.
There's that Hornet defensive line: Jeff, Mazurski, Rogers, Carr, Lowitz, and Harrington. Get the backfield for you in a minute. They're under pressure here in the 1st period of play. Saddleback and Douglas back, setting up a screen to Salinas on the other side. Flag down at the 35-yard line. 30, looks like he has a 1st down, but it could be a motion penalty against the Gauchos.
I think it's something right on the line. It's either a motion penalty or there may have been an illegal receiver downfield.
Instead, they're going to call offside Hornets. That'll be declined, should be 1st down, so a big 3rd down conversion for the Gauchos. And again, they set up that running back screen. We've seen it to the left to Schmid. We've seen it to the right to number 32, John Salinas, and it's worked effectively both ways.
It was an excellent call. Coach Swearingen really does a nice job of mixing up his plays. We get a chance to look at the defensive backs going to be responsible, or defensive backs are responsible for trying to stop those passing attack.
It's a good group. They will have their hands filled today. Cage to to the bottom of your screen along with number 11, Jason Schmidt, to the top, number 10, Kurt Woods. From first down, they're going to have a shotgun formation, so you know they want to throw today. Douglas back, throws it a little bit low under pressure from the Hornets. He had to release it rather quickly.
Tom Houts came right up the middle and it was untouched getting down there, and that's a short tie pass. You know, we saw in the first game of the season with the Hornets, we saw Santa Ana come out with 3 steps and throw. And now what the Gauchos are doing is in essence the same thing, only instead of having the quarterback underneath the center, they have him back on the long snap from the shotgun. He still wants to get rid of the ball in a hurry, and for Houts to come through that untouched, somebody missed an assignment.
2nd down and 10, and Douglas may have mentioned that in the huddle that time too. 2nd and 10 for Douglas. Back up this time again. Schmidt in motion, flag flying. Maybe a delay of game, too much time talking about that one. That should cost him 5 yards.
It may be illegal motion.
The procedure call against the Gauchos.
One of the interior linemen happened to move a little bit. The Hornets started pointing right away.
Jeff, are you surprised that they've come out, and we know they were going to throw quite a bit.
Procedure, right guard.
There it is, right guard called. Mark Candy, number 66. Well, you made it on television, Mark. Are you surprised that the Gauchos throwing as much as they are? Of course, with this great field position, it tends to make you want to put the ball up, perhaps.
They know they have to throw the ball to win today, and it'll be in the air a lot. They expect them to throw 50 times today.
I'll bring up a 2nd down and about 15 yards to go. Again, Schmidt in motion. They want to pass off of this formation. A ball tipped up by Todd Harrington. She made great penetration on the right side. The play was open on that side. The Hornets looked like they had it covered a little bit better, trying to go to number 11, Jason Schmidt.
We're going to get a chance to see this. Todd comes up, and John Salinas for the Saddleback, number 32, is trying to make the block for him. You see Todd right here at the bottom of your screen, and just he jumps up in the air and gets cut underneath his legs at the same time. Great individual effort.
And he's a good one, Todd Harrington, one of those defensive ends, doing a great job this year. On the other side, Mazursky and Steve Summers will come in there and give him a lot of action. 3rd and 15. Big 3rd down for the Hornet defense. The Gauchos with this field position, and a little confusion as Mike Douglas, number 12, wants to call a timeout. Looks like number 11, Jason Schmidt, a little bit confused about where he should be. 4 minutes, 14 seconds to go here, first period of play. The Gauchos up 7-0. The 1984 Pony Bowl is a little bit of a rocky start for the Hornets, the kind of start Ken Swearingen would have wanted for his Gauchos. Let's go down field level to Ken Macko.
Couple of injury updates right now. Pernell Sullivan, part of the offensive attack for the Hornets, will not be playing today. He has a bruised knee, got hurt Thursday afternoon. He won't see any action. Brian Mazursky's out there. He's got a bruised shoulder, but they need him on defense, so he will be in there today. Back upstairs to Lon and Jeff.
Down in the bright sunlight there at LaBarge Stadium, and you can see as the shadows on the field that Mike Douglas, quarterback for the Gauchos, looking into his son that's approaching, going towards the horizon here, and may be a factor before this afternoon is over.
Well, right now they've got the better situation, because you'd rather have the quarterback look in the sun than the receivers, because he doesn't have to look up in the air. He just finds his receivers. The receivers for the Hornets right now have to look back and up into that sun. That's when it gets difficult.
Big 3rd down play, 15 yards to go. Ball at the 34-yard line. Mike Douglas again in the shotgun. Pressure on. It's going to be a screen over here to Schmidt. He's knocked down, though. Good defensive play coming up for the Hornets. Number 20 from the secondary, Sean Robinson. So they had that one smelled early.
That's a good job for them. They come in with some extra defensive backs. They win a nickel defense for the Hornets, which is unusual. You don't get to see it very often. Goes from the shotgun, lots of pressure. They're going to let him go because they worked out like a screen, but Sean came up barreling up real hard. He is really a good hitter. They like him. He likes to bang.
Well, you can only go to the well so often. That'll bring up a 4th down and 15, but with the ball being at the 35-yard line, they may go ahead and go for it. Let's see what they elect to do. Douglas is still in there, along with running back number 36, Jerry Eldridge. They're going to slot him now. Flags flying, may be a delay of game. Let's see what they call it. It's a delay of game. So that's going to cost them another 5. That'll bring up a 4th down and 20, and to see if that changes their thinking. Yes, it does. Ken Swearingen's going to put the ball away now.
Delay of game.
The delay of game against the Gauchos, so a penalty changes their minds, brings up a little bit different field position. That'll bring in their punter, number 95, Andrew Keiss. Keiss, a transfer from San Diego State for the Hornets, back at about the 10-yard line. Damon Swayze and John Green. Ball off to the right a little bit. Keiss gets it, a low line drive job. Green lets it bounce, hitting around the 13-yard line, will settle down somewhere near the 11. So the Hornets have not had what you would call great field position last two possessions, on the 14 and now on the 11.
They've had horrible field position. They would love to get it back up around the 30, 35-yard line and go from there. But Fullerton, again, is going against a defense that has given up a lot of passing yardage and has shown that they will give up a lot of yards from the 20 to 20. And we saw in the last series with Fullerton, they started throwing a little bit more. We'll probably see some more of that too.
Fullerton having their work cut out. The Gaucho team has come up very fired up for this game. They want to make amends for the 1982 Pony Bowl. Pitch to Swayze, good block off the left side, but knocked down, gain of about 3. Great play that time by Jay Wilkerson coming from the defensive end position to knock him down.
Good pursuit, good job, good block by Kevin Prisborowski, number 44 for the Hornets. But he that's where he makes a good block, and he does it a little bit too early because the defenseman did a great job of getting off the ground and back up to help on the tackle.
That'll bring up a second down and about 6 yards for the Hornets from the 14-yard line. Mouw, Nash now, for the first time we saw him lining up in the eye, now out to the bottom of your screen. Give to Swayze, trying to pop to the outside, can't do it. Tackle made there by Mike Peel from the defensive tackle position, and the Gauchos look like they're ready to play a football game today, coming off the ball very well.
They're really fired up, and we're seeing their run defense again, good penetration. You know, when the Hornets get backed up like they are to inside their own 15-yard line, it's tougher for them to throw because that's a dangerous area. You get a sack, it could be a safety, it's really a fumble, could take it right into the end zone. So they are running a little bit more when they're in that area. They can open it up when they get through. We see Damon here get tackled for a loss. Great pursuit, good solid tackling.
Well, Peel came in there, 6'5", 230. The big guy, a sophomore out of El Toro, did the job. Third down and about 7. Mouw pumps once, looks like he's trying to set up a screen. Now he's back in his end zone, just throws it away into the Hornet bench on the other side. Somebody got knocked off the screen. I believe they were trying to go to number 25, Charles Ray, but nothing happening.
Well, that was the first time that I can remember that Fullerton had both Chuck Ray and Damon Swayze in the backfield at the same time. Damon came across the middle and was open across the middle on what they call a circle pattern, and they were trying to set up a screen over to Chuck, but something just didn't seem to gel there. They're a little bit rocky on offense, but they've always shown they can come back for it.
Salinas and Ostrander back as Rick Frank in his own end zone, punting with a 41.4 average. Gets away a short kick, fair catch called at the 48-yard line by Craig Ostrander, so another great field position for the Gauchos, their third of the game. They're up 7-0.
We saw the last series that the Hornet defense seemed to have made the right adjustments. They caused a long third down, a long fourth down. They've done a better job. That seems to be the tendency with Hornet defenses, that they may give up a little bit on one series, but they always have that ability to come back and settle down and stop teams. If they can keep the Gauchos from getting a first down here, they'll finally maybe get some field position for their offense.
The Gauchos, on the other hand, would like to see all of that end. Going to the right side, this time to Schmidt. He tries to get to the outside, gets by one man, but not by the rest of the Hornets. He got by Tommy Haltz, but the rest of the Hornet crew came over there, particularly number 77, the big guy, Pete Poching, from the nose tackle position. And they're going to go without a huddle. Second down and 10, trying to catch the Hornets and switching any defenses. Back to the other side with Schmidt. Didn't work on that side. Let's switch it. This time he fights over to the left side for a gain of about 3. Liddell Glenn came up to help out along with Todd Harrington. And they're going to go again without a huddle. Third down and about 7. We're going to have a timeout called, I believe, with the Hornets.
This is exactly what happened in the 1982 Pony Bowl. And in that case, they came out and they just went with no huddle or a quick huddle, got up to the line with a lot of trips, we call, which is 3 receivers to one side, which are unusual formations, and they try to get the play off before the defense can adjust and get their calls out. The Hornet defense makes an awful lot of adjustments at the line of scrimmage. They'll call one play in the huddle, and they could change it completely around because they know the tendencies of the formations. And what the Gauchos try to do here is to stop them from doing that. And in that place, they call 3 plays in the huddle. Now, they were exactly the same play, the first 2, and I'd be curious to know whether or not they just called 3 plays in a row. We're going to go run the same play. We'll go to the right, we'll go to the left, we'll go to the right. You don't know. It's really tough to try and call 3 complicated plays in the huddle at one time.
Sometimes you give up your power on offense trying to beat the defensive scheme on the other side. That time, 2 plays, a net of 4 yards. That'll bring up a 3rd down and 6 inside the Hornet 50-yard line, about the 47-yard line. You see the time left, can barely see it there. 5 minutes, 59 seconds to go. Gauchos up 7-0 here, first period of play. Sun shining brightly on that LaBarge Stadium scoreboard over there. Maybe a pair of sunglasses for the clock over there would help. 3rd down, 7 yards to go from the 47-yard line. Schmidt in motion to the bottom, gives it to the Salinas over the right side. He'll be short of the 1st down. The Hornets in there with Pete Carter, number 41, Brian Mazurski, number 57, and Tommy Houts, 48 for the tackle. That'll bring in Rutkowski. Punting away again, 4th down and about 4. Green and Swayze back for the Hornets, as you said, needed to hold the Gauchos without a 1st down that time. The Hornet defense did it, Jeff.
They did a really nice job. The Gauchos tried to hit that quick trap up the middle there because they expected a pass rush and it didn't quite work for them.
Excuse me, that's Andrew Keiss, a punter for the Gauchos. Snap a little low, picks it up, drives one. Green calls a fair catch, may let it go, hoping it goes into the end zone, but it will not. At about the 4-yard line, down right there by the Gauchos, number 57, making a great play. Jay Wilkerson, linebacker, 6'2", 198, out of modern day, and he came up with a play that will again push the Hornets in very poor field position.
Well, we're going to get a chance to see the punt. You see that he wants to fair catch it. Now, what he just did there, they should have thrown a flag. You cannot fair catch the ball, signal, and then block the man coming down. But it ended up for the Gauchos. They got the ball stopped down there on the 4-yard line. Again, excellent field position for the Gauchos. The Hornets have really been back in a hole. They need to get some room here to work with. They get a 1 or 2 first downs. They can maybe start into their normal offense.
Well, you have to be patient here when you're having this kind of a start at a game. Back 7-0. Split backs now. Flag down, maybe too much time. Let's see what they decide to do. It is a legal procedure against the Hornets. Second time we've seen that called, once against each team. So a shaky start for the Hornets at best.
Fortunately, it doesn't hurt them that much. It's only half the distance to the goal, so they've only lost a couple yards out of it. The offense needs to settle down and get something going here, and it's just tough to do when you've backed yourself all the way back into your own goal line.
And down here, of course, turnovers are extremely hazardous for the offensive team. Prisborowski and Swayze. Swayze over the middle, ball loose. Let's see who has it. Saddleback players saying they have it. We'll wait for the officials to unpile. Talking about turnovers, we may have jinxed the Hornet offense. Let's see, the officials still have not called it. Still Hornet ball. Could have been the 3rd turnover of the day. That one is a big play.
It was interesting that down there on their own goal line, or on the opponent's goal line, the Gauchos went into their goal line defense, which is normally they're trying to prevent you from going into their own goal line. But here they know that with the Hornets with their back like that, they're not going to necessarily throw the ball right away. They're going to try and run it, especially on 1st down. So they put in their toughest run defense. It's an 8-man front, and they want to cause something to happen, and they got the fumble.
Good defensive call by the Gaucho defensive coaches up here. Now they've switched around a little bit. Mouw with Chuck Ray in the eye. Back to throw, Mouw in his own end zone, going long, looking for Aaron Grimm. It's intercepted. Back to the 45-40, tackle made by Grimm, but not before the cornerback, Alan Roman, brings it again, the 3rd turnover for the Hornets. Great field position, 33-yard line. The Gauchos are under fire here.
Well, I tell you, that was an excellent interception. The ball was right on the money. We're going to get a chance to see this. The ball was thrown right on the money. It would have been a beautiful pass right in the numbers of the Hornet receiver, and Roman did a nice job of just reaching out, and right on his fingertips, took it right away. Excellent individual effort.
Only his 2nd interception of the year. That's a great time to have it, and again, great field position for the Gauchos. From the 34-yard line, leading 7-0. 4 minutes, 21 seconds to go. Douglas back to throw, under pressure. He'll go down, number 45, Todd Harrington finally there. Pete Poching with the first hit. A loss of about 7, 2nd down and 17.
Well, the Hornet defense so far is really keeping the Hornets in the game. They're doing a good job of against a tough situation. You don't like to have your back into your own goal line. You don't like to have them across the midfield stripe. Here we're going to get a chance to see what the Hornet defense is famous for, and that's pressuring the quarterback. First on one side, then another. Two guys are on the tackle. That's his great penetration.
The interior of that Gaucho line, Frederick, Leota, and Candy, all freshmen. We thought perhaps they might have trouble against this Hornet defense, but they've done a nice job so far. 2nd and 17. Douglas back to throw, looking long for Schmidt. Jimmy Chambers with an interception. A great job at the 2-yard line. Jimmy Chambers.
Great interception. Golly, we get to see one from the Saddleback side. He makes a nice interception, and then we see Jimmy Chambers, who was leading the Pac-9 conference at the end of the season. He had 7 interceptions in the year. He makes a diving catch. Douglas puts the ball up. He purposely out-throws his man, and Chambers dives and makes the catch. That's the good part. Now, the bad part, or the negative part of it, I guess, is that the Hornets are starting inside their 5-yard line again.
Well, they're back to the 2 where they were before the interception occurred. So on that exchange of possessions, the Hornets come up with nothing. Back deep in their own territory. Split backs now. Swayze, Prisborowski. Mouw back to throw in his own end zone, a short pass. This one goes to the left side. A nice gain up near first down territory. Aaron Grimm, number 88, the freshman from California High School. He'll see a lot of action with an injury to Pernell Sullivan today.
He sure will, and he's got a lot of action during the year anyway because they rotate their receivers an awful lot, bringing in plays. That is a great call. That's a tight pass that'll really loosen up the passing game for the Hornets. They've got to bring those corners up. The corners are really respecting the speed of the Hornet receivers, and they're giving them a lot of room to work underneath.
Hornet offensive line, Knuchin, Shermer, Katnick, Wade, and Scherer. One remaining back in Swayze. First down, back inside, a nice cut by Swayze. He's free, up inside the 25-yard line, make it the 27. First down for the Hornets. This is what they needed to do, put together a couple first downs, and, well, you could say improved field position, and anything would be an improvement in what they've had so far here in the first quarter.
Well, they really have. They've done a nice job. They saw, here's Damon running on that play, breaks back very nicely. The reason he can get into the backfield so fast on that is that the Gauchos were going with a nickel defense. And it's so far, both times that the Gauchos have come with the nickel defense, the Hornets have run the ball and run it successfully, both times with Damon running on that play.
So I'll bring up another first down for the Hornets, 37-yard line. 3 turnovers for the Hornet offense already on the afternoon. Swayze over the right side, short yardage, about 3 yards. Kevin Prisborowski leading the blocking there. Good defensive play that time, coming up from the secondary. Number 21 for the Gauchos, Steve Lamoth. So the safety up quickly on that run play.
It'll be interesting to see what the second down call is. Coach Sampson normally on second down likes to run the ball because he feels confident in his running game. And then he's got third down and short, he can do either one. But I wouldn't be surprised to see him put it up the way they've been playing against the run defense now.
Mouw with a second down, 7 yards to go. Back to throw, moving the pocket. He's got a man open here, misses him. Interception by the Gauchos. Rocky trying to make the tackle, the 4th turnover. Number 15, Robbie Williams from the corner, his 7th interception of the year. 4th turnover for the Hornets. Mouw had a man open, simply missed him. Flag back in the secondary. We're going to have a clip against the Gauchos. That'll cost them a little yardage, but again, possession, and that's the name of the game.
That ball just sailed away from Rocky. This is called a waggle play. They fake the run, he rolls back over the other side. The tight end comes across the middle. He was wide open, and the ball just got away from Rocky when he let it go. Sometimes the ball will sail like that, and when you're not having, if you don't have a lot of confidence in what you're doing right now, you don't tend to zip the ball like you'd want to, and that's when it starts to sail.
It's been a long time since you've probably heard or seen of a Hornet team with 4 turnovers in the first quarter of play. A worried Hal Scherbeck and coaching staff along with the Hornets on the far side. That clipping penalty will bring it back into Gaucho territory at the 38-yard line. They run trips, 3 wide receivers to the right side. A lone running back is Salinas. They give it to Salinas. He's stacked up at the line of scrimmage. No gain. The Hornets not fooled by that play. 67 Rogers in there along with the linebackers, Carter and Pete Carter and Tommy Haltz in there also.
A lot of times when the Gauchos come out with those 3 receivers over there, one of the receivers, of course, is a running back. And he'll just step back and they'll throw a quick hitch pass out to him. He's got 2 blockers in front. The Hornets feel right now that Douglas does not have good mobility, and that if they can put pressure on him, they'll keep him from completing the passes. And, of course, that pressure works good against the run, too.
They'd like to flush him if they could. Again, a lone running back, John Salinas. Schmid, Levin in motion to the top. Under pressure, Douglas. Rogers is after him, can't come up with it. Throws it away and almost intercepted, but completed to Schmid. First down, right at midfield, 50-yard line. Almost an interception, but a good play by Schmid and Mike Douglas.
The cornerback for the Hornets that time, I didn't get a chance to see who that was, but he went for the interception. You're going to see that Douglas gets back and he gets pressure right up front. The end got cut. There's more pressure and just missed the tackle. Good job of releasing the ball. The defensive back, I'm not sure who that was.
Jimmy Chambers on that side going for the interception and a lot of territory in front of him. But that didn't work out, and a good play for the Gauchos. First down for them, right at midfield, just into Hornet territory. Call it the 49-yard line. Over the middle, short yardage. Gain of about 2 yards. Well, the Gauchos trying to grind it out a little bit. And as we talked about earlier, Jeff, they pass a lot, but it's kind of a possession kind of passing, ball control.
Well, when you look at the statistics, Douglas has thrown for less yards than Rocky has, although he's completed 20 more passes. His yards per catch is a lot lower because they do throw that possession-type ball. They like to throw the 5-yard outs, the quick slants, the stops, the curls, and we're going to see a lot more of that today.
Eldridge slotted out to the right, 2nd down and 7 for Douglas. Gives it to the first back through, and he fights over the left side again, gain of about 3 yards. And that is the end of the first period of play for the Gauchos. It's been a good one, 4 turnovers, but you take a look at that side of the ledger and you say with 4 turnovers, they only cashed in for 7 points.
Well, we said they are an opportunistic team, and they showed that right away with the first turnover on the fumble, and then they brought it right in for a touchdown.
No. Let's go down and take a listen to Kenny Nash down at field level.
The Hornets have been involved in a lot of postseason play. This is the 10th bowl game that the Hornets have been in. The first one being in 1961. That was the Orange Show Bowl. They lost that to Sac. And the list goes on and on. They played last year, of course, in the Potato Bowl, won that. They beat Taft 28-7. And this marking their 10th bowl game, they're going to try to win their 7th game. Back upstairs to Lon and Jeff.
Kenny, and yes, they will be trying to win this one, but they trail 7-0. Beginning of the second period of play. The Gauchos underway here with a 3rd down and 5 at the inside the 45-yard line of the Hornets.
Gauchos have only been able to convert on 1 of 3 3rd downs so far. This will be interesting to see. They've got a long ways to go.
Schmid in motion, 3 wide receivers to the top. They go to Schmid, but he drops it, and it is a pass. It's a forward pass and not a fumble, so that will bring up a 4th down. And that'll bring in punter Andrew Keiss one more time. So 3rd down conversions have not been a strong point, as you said, for Saddleback. That play looked like something may have developed. The pass a little low. Schmid probably should have come up with it, though.
The reason that pass did not come through was because of Pete Carter, number 41 for the Hornets. He did a great job of recognizing the pass, got out there in a hurry, and I'm sure that's what the receiver was looking at, was Carter coming right at him.
Carter will make you look twice. Keiss to punt it away from his own 40-yard line. Green and Swayze back for the Hornets inside the 10. Either way, it should field position may be a problem. Looking into the sun, John Green receives it at the 5-yard line, falls forward, tripped up at about the 14. So 14 is one of the better field positions for the Hornets in the last 5 or 6 minutes, Jeff.
That says an awful lot about where the Hornets have had to start when you say, "Guy, we're happy we're not inside the 5-yard line." And it has not been the fault of the Hornet defense. The defense has played excellent ball game. They gave up 1 score, but when they've had to be on the field through 3 interceptions and 1 fumble, they're on the field a lot, and they've stopped them very well. It's going to take some time, I think, for the offense to gel for the Hornets. They've shown that they can score. They're an offensive powerhouse at 35 points a game. They are going against a defense they have not seen. They're going against a very good, tough defense, too. So the adjustments will have to come, and that's what the Hornets are going to have to try and do. I'm sure Coach Sampson's upstairs writing down all X's and O's, figuring out what he's going to do with it.
And when we say Coach Sampson, we don't mean Ralph up here. He wouldn't need a press box, a big guy for Houston. Marv Sampson up there helping with the signals for the Fullerton College Hornets. First down and 10, 13-yard line. Swayze in the eye. Nash to the bottom of your screen. Give the Swayze ball loose, flying around. Maybe Swayze picked it up and got a couple yards out of it to boot. But the Hornets playing foot loose and fancy free with a pigskin down there this afternoon, Jeff.
A fortuitous bounce, that's for sure.
Fortuitous bounce, I like that. Almost the 5th turnover of the game for the Hornets.
Here's the replay, of course. It was a good exchange. At least I thought it looked like good exchange. Oh, nope, Damon didn't have it from the very beginning. So it just seems to be the jinx is on for the Hornet offense right now.
They've come out looking probably as unsettled as we've seen them in several games for the 1984 season. But you have to be patient and let things work your way. Give to Chuck Ray over the right side, and he's got some room. Chuck Ray, great move inside first, then outside to the 36-yard line. And he's a guy that's done it all year, 666 yards, 3 runs this year for touchdowns of 75 yards or over. He likes that kind of 75-yard mark for the 1984. And what a great tandem of Damon Swayze, a great tailback, and then go to Chuck Ray. Here it is.
We're going to see the replay here. The Hornets have been successful running outside on the Gauchos today. They give it to Chuck going out. He's the second man through. Does a very good job of getting outside. That's where his speed really comes into play.
And now you give him a rest and you bring in the man who was over 1,000 yards in the last couple of years, Damon Swayze. He gets the pitch. Wade and Prisborowski out leading the block. Swayze with a flag flying gets the midfield, but I believe we're going to have a call against the Hornets. It will be holding. Prisborowski out there with Wade. I'm not sure who got the call, but that's going to negate a fine run by Swayze and move the Hornets back.
Damon did a nice job of using his blockers there. He's dipping in and out, waiting, pausing for him. We're going to get a chance to see it as he comes toward the bottom of the screen here. Wade, number 53, pulls out. So does Prisborowski. Wade was down, and then he ended up reaching out and grabbing somebody. So he made a nice block, made an extra effort, tried to get someone else, and got caught with his hand in the cookie jar.
And that's a no-no. Referee Lee Phelps will move it back inside the 30 to the 26-yard line. So the fine run negated plus the extra yardage tacked on by the offensive penalty. So Hornets holding penalty 10 yards. So what you're going to see, what you've seen so far is the Hornets going against about every adversity. They've penalized themselves. Jeff, they've given the ball away 4 times and a chance for 5. Mouw has Swayze in the eye. Back to throw, moving the pocket. Under pressure, gets away from one man. Ball loose as he's hit from the backside. Incomplete. So that'll bring up a 2nd down, and Rocky Mouw took a hit from number 57 for the Gauchos as he came flying from the defensive end position. Jay Wilkerson, the freshman.
Good penetration again by the Gauchos coming up through the middle. We get a chance to see Rocky does a nice job of getting away from the one, but then comes back and gets hit just as he throws the ball. Otherwise, he would have had a completion there.
It may be because of the circumstances that have occurred, but the Hornets appear to be just a little flat so far. They've dropped the ball around, and they don't seem to have that zip of vim and vigor, so to speak, that we've seen in 1984. But it's early here in the second period of play. They trail 7-0. Almost a bad exchange there. Mouw can't get it away, and he's knocked down. Tackle made there by number 93 as he came in, Eric Van Skyke, Mission Conference Defensive Player of the Year. And the offensive line having a lot of trouble with that defensive front of the Gauchos.
Well, they're doing a good job, as we said, of getting into the penetration areas, getting into the gaps, and get in front of Rocky when he tries to throw the ball. The thing on this play, what was very good, was the coverage by the Gaucho defense. They were running a good straight across zone where they had 4 or 5 men just on a line, stretched across the field, and Rocky couldn't find anybody open.
And that'll bring up a 3rd down and about 27 yards to go. Not too many plays in the playbook for that kind. Mouw back to throw. Plenty of time. This time goes over the middle, finds these men in Aaron Grimm. He stays on his feet outside the 40 to the 43-yard line, but that'll be about 5 yards short of the 1st down. That'll bring in Rick Frank, the putter for the Hornets, and too little, too late.
Well, I think, though, what we saw was a good work on how they work against a nickel defense. When you've got 5 defensive backs in there, you have to try and stretch them out. You try to go in layers. One person about 10 yards deep, another one about 20, and another one really deep on the bomb to stretch them out. In that case, the middleman was open coming across for a good gain.
John Salinas back along with Craig Ostrander. Flag flying as a punt is away. Fair catch called by Ostrander at the 28-yard line. We'll wait and see what the flag is all about. may be against the Hornets. If it is, it's a penalty-ridden game for them. It is a motion call against the Hornets. Another penalty, their 4th of the game, for 27 yards, but they have been costly ones, Jeff. This one may be declined. The Gauchos will take the ball right there. Pretty good field position at the 28-yard line. Not as good as they've been getting for the rest of the game, but still a good spot to start. The Hornet defense back out on the field one more time.
They have been progressively, the Gauchos that is, getting the ball closer and closer to their end zone. The last time they had it was the first time they'd taken possession in their own territory, and then this time, of course, they're down even farther to 37. So that's a good sign. It's a progressive sign. This is going to be a game of field position, and right now the Gauchos are winning the game of field position.
And they're winning the game 7-0.
It tends to go hand in hand.
One thing that the Hornets have had going for them all year long is that they're plus 22 on the turnover ratio, and they have been a team where the defense has created possibilities for them, much like the Gaucho team is creating for their offense today with those 4 turnovers. The Hornets defense, they've been coming up with the big turnover, turning the game around really for the 1984 season.
Well, they've got one turnover, of course, today with the interception, which is not bad. If you can get 5 turnovers in a game, defensively, you feel if you can get 5 turnovers, you should win that ball game. The Gauchos have not really gotten that many turnovers during their season, and they have sure shown that they know how to do it because they've come back and already gotten 4 here in the first half.
Well, 4 is a healthy number for the Gauchos, and they've done a great job defensively, and the offense has put up 7 points. First quarter stats there, as you can see, total yards, not too much difference, but the key has been that they didn't need to go too far because the Gauchos, I'm speaking of, have had great field position.
We saw the example we talked about earlier, the balance of the rushing and passing attack of Fullerton, although it has not been exceptionally effective, and the one-sided on the passing side for the Gauchos.
Douglas with one remaining back in Salinas, again passing position. It is Eldridge over the right side, gain of about 5 yards. He's wrestled down by Pete Carter and company, but a nice gain on first down of about 5, bring up a 2nd down and 5.
Anytime you can get 5 yards on first down, you've done a nice job. 2nd down has been a real difficult situation for the Gauchos. They really have not been able to look at many 3rd down and short yardage. They've had 3rd down and 4 or more almost every time.
Now Douglas again, and each time they come out, it's in a passing type of set. He's got Roger Brown back there. He wants to throw short. He has a man open in cage for the first down. Wrestled down there by Robbie Van Vliet. Sean Robertson also in on the tackle, but not before he picks up 7 yards and a first down. And again, indication of that possession kind of passing we talked about earlier.
The Hornets defense that actually very well. Liddell Glenn, number 28, is the cornerback for them out there. As we look at the replay, he slips right there as he's trying to make his drive to go for the ball, and that had a lot to do with the reception being completed.
Schmidt and Cage come out, Sussenjar in now, and also Kurt Woods, number 10, and he's at the top. Eldridge backing at the running back, and he gets the ball over the right side, and a great hit from the Hornet defense. He fights forward for about 4 yards, but a hit came from the the safety position. Number 23, John Collard, came in and just put the helmet on him. He fought off of that and gained of about maybe 3 yards, make it 2nd down and 7.
Safety blitz. I assume it's a safety blitz. If not, he had one of the greatest reads I've ever seen a defensive back, but he came up and really pounded on him. The Hornets are so high on John. They feel he's just one of their best defensive backs and that he has a long career ahead of him, especially if going to a 4-year school the next couple of years.
John Collard has come out of the last 2 games dragging that right hand behind him. He's had a lot of trouble with it. Shoulder area, I believe. 2nd down and 7. Back to throw Douglas. He's got a man open over the middle into Hornet territory. Good play. Good read that time by the offense. Picking it up to number 82, Tony Palomero, the tight end. Good first down now for the Saddleback Gauchos, and again, short stuff over the middle, but picking up effective yardage.
Well, they bring the tight end all the way from the left side and drag him clear across the middle, clear across the formation, and on that type of play, he's the only receiver on the left side, so the cornerback, in this case it was Liddell Glenn for the Hornets, has to chase him clear across the field. That's a long way for anybody to have to run with him.
So they keep their drive alive here in the second period of play. The Gauchos up 7-0. 2 backs in the backfield, ball's loose. Let's see who has it. The Hornets flying around that area. Number 23, John Collard, says that they have it. If so, it'll be the 2nd Gaucho turnover. The exchange just didn't seem to be made. Still unpiling. It will stay Gaucho ball, so that's a big break for them right there. The Hornets down under there, number 70, Adam Lowitz, at the bottom of the stack. But the Gauchos came up with a big play that time, Jeff.
The front line of Lowitz and Poaching and Carr and a couple other people they do bring in there are really going to be a key. They're going against two freshman guards and a freshman center on the Gaucho team, and they've got to exert their experience.
So they'll bring up a second down at about 12 yards, though. Give it to the first back through on the other side. That's Salinas. He fights forward for about 3 yards to the 45-yard line. So another third down situation for the Gauchos, but they're happy right now just to have be hanging on to the ball.
Both teams are having trouble, and I don't think that's because they're so nervous. I think it's because there's a lot of hitting going on out there. We get a chance here to look at the defensive coach for the Hornets, Jeff Jesperson, with the headset on. He's the one who's going to be flashing out the signals, looking like he's breakdancing on the sidelines. They actually do mean something to him, though.
Not to the rest of the world, but to the Hornet defense and Jeff Jesperson. Third down and about 8. Douglas back to throw. Carter's got him. Sack for the Hornets. Back to the 48-yard line. Big play by the Hornet defense.
That's the backside linebacker for the Hornets coming through. They don't normally, when you only have one back in the backfield, as the Gauchos do, they don't have enough people to block him. And he comes off, and they worked off the center, who we were talking earlier is a freshman. The Mike man, the nose man for the Hornets, goes to the right, and the right side linebacker, which is Houts, comes back across to the left across his face, and nobody's there to block him, and there's no back in there to pick him up.
It was Tommy Houts, number 48, and the Hornets. Good position perhaps for them, but anything past the 15 would be good. Keiss back to punt it, gets it away. Green on a good punt at his 5-yard line. Knocked down at the 5. 4-yard line should be the spot right there. Number 31, Gabe Casillas. Well, we talked about field position till we've talked it to death, but it's really the story of this first 2 quarters.
Well, unfortunately, that was a mistake by John in that case. The rule is that you stand on the 10-yard line and you wait for the ball, and if the ball goes over your head, you let it go. And he caught that ball on the 3-yard line. If he lets that go, most likely that ball is going to go in the end zone, and the Hornets at least get to work from the 20.
Their possession, field possession spots for the Hornets back in dangerous territory again one more time. 7 minutes, 31 seconds to go here. Second period of play. Mouw back to throw. Short drop, goes to Grimm. Grimm tries to fight away, but will get up to about the 13-yard line. Tackle made there on Grimm by number 21, coming from the safety position, Steve Lamothe, but a good first down pickup of about 8 yards.
Same first down play that they ran when at the end of the first quarter when they were back down their own end zone. You can see how wide open he was because the corners are backing off. The Hornets need to exploit that a little bit more to open up the passing game.
Second down and 2 for the Hornets, 13-yard line. Mouw sends Nash to the right side, top of your screen. Ray as a tailback, and he gets the pitch over the right side. Fighting for yardage, but can't come up with it. Again from the safety position, number 21, Steve Lamothe, as he makes the tackle. And it could be close enough for a first down. Looks like it's close to the 15-yard line. He had to get the nose of the ball near the 15. Charles Ray, a great compliment at that tailback position. What a tandem of Swayze and Ray, over 1,500 yards this year, and that's great production from the tailback position.
Well, and they're real smart tailbacks, too. In that case was a good example. Ray could have tried to go outside if he wanted to break it for a longer one and maybe try and do that, and that's the tendency to do this. But he knows it's second down and short. He knows the first down is important, and so when he saw a little opening, he just took it up the middle, and he ended up getting the first down. They got a new set.
And they do get the first down out the 15-yard line, let's call it. The Hornets trail 7-0. Gauchos with a great 2 quarters of play here thus far. 4 turnovers for the Hornets, 1 turnover for the Gauchos. Man in motion to the bottom. Under pressure, Rocky Mouw. He can't get away from Jay Wilkerson. Number 57 came in virtually untouched, Jeff.
Well, he sure did. There was a mix-up there, I'm sure, in the blocking assignments. 2 of the linemen for the Hornets got tangled up just a little bit. And, you know, that's all it takes is a little thing like that.
The Hornets with a second down and about 21 yards to go now. Way back at their own 6-yard line as Mouw sacked again. Chuck Ray in the eye. The Hornets have found nothing successful so far against this team. Ray over the left side, but maybe 3 yards at the most. The Hornets playing it close to the vest, picking up about 3 yards.
You know, when your defense is playing as well as the Hornet defense is now, and they've really put the stop so far on the Gaucho offense, you can afford as an offensive coach to be able to play conservative when you're down here, and you don't have to take chances. You're only down by 1 touchdown, which is really not that much at all. It could happen in 1 second with a long bomb. So they can play conservative. They know they've already had some turnovers. They don't want to give up any more. So I think that's why we're not seeing them open up as much as they'd like to.
Well, if your play is as unsettled as they have in the first 2 periods, if you can go in 7-0, that might not be too bad. Mouw shakes away from a safety. He wants to go long, looking for Nash. Nash back there, ball is knocked down, not completed, but the play there made by Rocky Mouw as he shook away the defender and kept the Hornets away from a safety.
Well, I'll tell you, that was really scary. Here we are just talking about playing it close to the vest. And Coach Sampson decides to go for all the marbles on there. Good blitzing. The Gauchos anticipated the pass, sent everybody with their sisters on up through the middle of the line, and Rocky did a great job of shaking off that tackler and preventing the safety.
Rocky saved him 2 points. That'll bring in Rick Frank from his own end zone. Frank gets away a high, short one. Salinas, fair catch signal right there at the 43-yard line. And the Gauchos again with great field position, leading 7-0.
Well, now they've broken the trend. The Hornets had been keeping the Gauchos getting their possession back progressively closer to the Gauchos' own goal line, and of course this time they're back across on the 42-yard line. The Gauchos need to get some points on the board here from their standpoint. It's real important to them to move the ball a little bit, get up a couple first downs, at least get a field goal out of it to get the confidence back in their offense.
And that Gaucho defense, you have to credit them. Don Butcher, McCullough, Stutz, the defensive coaches for the Gauchos. They've done a nice job preparing that team. Douglas under pressure. He'll go down. Pete Poching at the top, the big 300-pounder, along with Todd Harrington, number 45. That'll be a loss of about 3 yards, 2nd down and 13.
Good pressure again up the middle. That was a textbook pressure play by the Hornets. You've got, with a half roll, you've got to bring someone up from the outside, which is your defensive end, to stop the quarterback from rolling outside anymore, and then bring the pressure up in the middle to be able to make the sack. And that is exactly what happened there. It was textbook.
2nd down, make it 14 to go. 3 minutes, 39 seconds to go here, 2nd period of play. Gauchos up 7-0, and Mike Douglas doesn't like what he sees, decides to call a timeout, perhaps the wrong personnel for the play call that time by the sideline. Let's go down to Ken Macko.
This is the 4th Pony Bowl. Pony's the sponsor of the bowl game. There was a chance that the game wouldn't be played, but at the last minute they decided they would. This is a nice travel bag we have in front of us. Pony's provided this at a raffle at the end of each quarter. They're giving one of these away. Kind of a nice bag. I hope I get to win one. Back upstairs to Lon and Jeff.
Nice hat, Kenny. We didn't get one up here. 3 minutes, 33 seconds to go here, and it's been all Gauchos so far here in the 1984 Pony Bowl. They've done a good job. They've had, well, you see the first downs. A lot of the stats are pretty close if you take a look at the totals. 7 first downs for both teams, but if you look at the scoreboard, 7-0 is really the big number right there for the Gauchos. 4 turnovers for the Hornets, 1 turnover for the Gauchos. And you take a look at turnovers and field position, that has been the story so far of the 1984 Pony Bowl. Salinas, the lone back. Douglas with a 2nd down and 15. Under pressure, gets it away to Smid. Smid is down back to the original line of scrimmage, tackled by Pete Poching. Flags go flying, maybe a personal foul. Late hit against the Hornets. 57 for the Hornets came in there kind of late. I'm not sure who got the call. Might have been Tommy Houts.
I'm sure it was. Right near the end of the play, Tom did brush off a blocker and push him down, and it wasn't anything flagrant, but it was right in front of the referee, and they called it. I think the referees are saying we've got to get control of this game a little bit more. Well, we did get a chance to get the ref mic on that play. But both teams have been hitting a lot right to the end of the whistle. It's kind of like the whistle, the referee's taking the breath in to blow the whistle, and they're making hits still. So it's been right on the cuff, and they want to put a little cap on it.
And another first down inside the 30 for the Gauchos. 27-yard line, first down now for Douglas. Back in the shotgun, setting up a screen over here to Salinas. He's got room to run. Carter looking for him, finally knocked down by Tom Houts, but not before he picks up about 6 yards and a good play on first down. We've seen that several times already this afternoon.
Well, they're not going to be able to live by the screen, but they're not afraid to come back and do something that's working for him. He's going to do a semi-roll and turn around back over here to get the ball. And of course, Salinas has been a real good receiver for him. He caught their touchdown pass, the 15-yard touchdown pass that went through. He has been really potent for them from coming out of the backfield.
And the Gauchos would like to pick up some more points here. They've had great field position and 4 Hornet turnovers to do so. Thrown over there to Cage, a good throw, a dangerous throw, but a reception made inside the 15 at the 14-yard line will be first down.
That was a dangerous throw because I really thought that was going to be picked off. It was up in the air an awful long time. He stared at the receiver, and I don't know whether it was maybe the sun or something was blocking Liddell Glenn. He just didn't get a chance to drive on the ball as well as he normally does.
At any rate, that will bring up another first down for the Gauchos inside the 15-yard line this time. And they have time, 2 minutes, 3 seconds to go here, second period of play. The Gauchos and Mike Douglas, Eldridge, and Salinas in the backfield. Give it to the second man through. That's Salinas. He fights forward for about 3 yards. Going over the left side of that offensive line, something the Saddleback Gauchos like to do. At least they've shown that tendency in 1984.
Well, coming into the game, they showed that no matter where they were, no matter what sort of formation they might be in, they're going to run to their left side. They have a lot of confidence with that. That's unusual because most teams are either tight end oriented or they're right-handed. In this case, they're left-handed, so they are breaking a few of the rules there.
Douglas with Eldridge in the backfield. Sussenjar to slot to the left. Now movement to the right side, going for the corner for Schmid. Almost caught but knocked down. Jimmy Chambers on the coverage for the Hornets. The ball was right there, but pretty good defensive structure by cornerback Jim Chambers.
Jimmy was in as good a position as you can be in a cornerback that situation, and then he's got to look back up and find the sun too. We get a chance to see the replay here. It's just they call the lob job, throw it up into the corner, let the receiver run for it. You can see Jimmy's right there with him. Even if Jimmy hadn't been, it would have been tough for the receiver to be able to keep his feet inside bounds to be able to make that a good reception.
And Douglas put it right there where it should be, back of the end zone at the flag. It's either a completion or out of bounds. Third down now. Big play for the Hornet defense. Shotgun formation for Saddleback. Douglas with pressure from Houts. Tommy has him again. Tom Houts, his second sack of the afternoon, pushes him way back to the 23-yard line. Makes that field goal for number 73, Tracy Rutkowski, just a little bit longer.
That's exactly right. I was just noticing that myself. He's going to have to kick a 35-yard, 37-yard field goal here, and that's no easy chip shot for anybody. And he has not had to kick an awful lot of field goals. We see the replay here. Big sack, of course. Again, coming up over the center position because that's where Houts is coming off the right side.
Setting at the 29-yard line. That'll make a 39-yard attempt. Rutkowski, 7 of 11 on the year. No good off to the right, so the Gauchos draw a blank on that possession, and the Hornet defense holds.
Big sack. Boy, you really see what happens when a little 10-yard, 15-yard difference will make, because if he was a lot closer, he doesn't have to worry about the length. He knows it's going to go there. He can concentrate more on accuracy. When you've got to try and boot that ball harder, it takes away from your accuracy, and it really paid dividends for the Hornets.
And 29 seconds to go here in the second period of play. 7-0 Gauchos. The Hornets might just want to go in here and forget these first 2 periods of play. They may just say, look, this has not been the best 2 periods we've played all year long, so let's take it in right now. 1st and 10. Ball at the 23-yard line. Mouw has Charles Ray in the backfield. Pitches to Ray. Ray back inside, reverses his field, but he's made some company, and a good block over there made by the Hornets. Ray back to the 30-yard line.
Boy, that's a great block by Ken Nash to come back and make that play, number 80 for the Hornets. That's what only great backs can make, that type of reverse their field and go all the way back across. Good speed took him all the way back. I'm glad we got a chance to see that. You can see that Prisborowski, number 44, is going to come in motion here to the bottom of the screen. They give the pitch out. He gets it all tied up. He can't go, and he says, well, let's try the other side. He goes back over and picks up a great block right there by Kevin Nash, sprung him forward to get the 6 yards out of the play.
And Kenny just got his helmet inside to avoid a clip on that play, too. And we're going to see a second down. The Hornets have called a timeout. Just a few seconds left, so they might try to go up top here and see if they can get something, salvage something out of this. Although you take a look at what's happened here in the first 2 periods of play here in the 1984 Pony Bowl, and you have to believe that the Hornets are lucky if they go into the halftime here only down 7-0.
Well, yeah, they're fortunate because with all the turnovers that they had, they should have been a lot higher than that. And I'm sure that, we got a shot there earlier of Coach Don Butcher down there for the Saddlebacks. He's been their linebacker coach. He usually signals in their defenses. He's one that looks like he's flapping his arms, similar to what Coach Jesperson does for the Hornets. He is, of course, concerned with the fact that they give up that type of play. They pursue. When a team pursues really well, then they are vulnerable to someone cutting back. They're vulnerable for the reverse, too, and his team has been doing a good job today.
Let's see if the Hornets try to go up top. Grimm to the top of your screen. Ray in a slot. Kenny Nash also in there at the bottom. Ray in motion. Mouw back to throw, and he's seen a lot of pressure. Short screen to Charles Ray to the 40-yard line, still on his feet. Fights forward to the 48-yard line, but not enough. Second period of play ends. The Hornets trailing here in the 1984 Pony Bowl, 7-0. Jeff, any quick comments on the first 2 periods?
Well, I think as we've seen through the whole thing, it's been a real defensive battle. A lot of turnovers. The Hornets, of course, gave up those 4 turnovers early in the game. The defense for the Hornets has really settled down and done a good job of shutting off the Gauchos. The Hornets are going to have to regroup offensively and figure out what they've got to do to put some points on the board. It's anybody's game at only 7-0.
And the man who may have a few things to say in there, Hal Scherbeck, 24th year as head coach at Fullerton College. And we had a chance earlier in the week to talk to Hal Scherbeck, and we thought we'd bring him up close and personal to you and take a look at the winningest active JC football coach in the nation. What does it take to become the winningest JC football coach in the nation? How can one college rack up 3 national championships and develop 87 JC All-Americans? Well, if you come to Fullerton College real early or stay late at night, you can find the answer. It takes time and dedication to maintain a winning tradition, and Coach Hal Scherbeck gives plenty of both.
I think winning programs come with winning people, and that's what I've been fortunate enough to have. My time schedule is one in which I spend a lot of time, but it's fun and I enjoy it, or I wouldn't do it. And it's sometimes it becomes a long day and a long week and a long season, but when it ends with some rewards for young men, well, then it's all worthwhile.
Over the last 4 seasons, the Hornets have a record of 36-4-1. They've won 2 conference championships and a national championship. But winning does create additional pressure. Everyone expects a win every week.
I've indicated sometimes I wonder if maybe winning is something that takes on a different perspective at times, and some of the things that we sometimes expect of players, if they appreciate it, that maybe we are critical of them, and it's not that we don't love them, it's that we expect a little bit more from them. But it does get to a point where you wonder, would it be easier on to maybe not worry about winning every week and just go out and do the things that you can do and let the dice roll the way they might,
Over 400 Hornets have received 4-year scholarships, and Coach Scherbeck takes pride in preparing his players for life after their football careers.
The thing that, we remember wins, and we remember championships and so on, but I think the biggest thing is when we all as coaches have some people come back that maybe we feel that maybe we touch some way or another, and that they've been successful not only in business, but they've been successful in their marriage and life, and want to come back and be part of something that they contributed to, and that's the key.
With his headset on, right in the middle of the action on the sidelines, Coach Scherbeck remains on an even keel.
I think there's times when if you are ranting and raving and you lose your control or emotions, then what you're talking to as far as ball players, then you are kind of being a hypocrite, because you can only play the ball game if you are in complete control of yourself. And if a ball player loses his emotional control, then he's not doing his job. And if coaches lose their emotional control and get carried away and sometimes you got to show emotions, and I think sometimes I have done that, probably not as much as I would like to, but I can control that. But I think I have to be aware of what's going on and not lose track of that, because there are sometimes things come up and you have to be in control of that.
Coach Scherbeck has had things well under control for 24 years at Fullerton College as he approaches a quarter of a century of excellence as the Hornet head coach. Back here at Labard Stadium, the 1984 Pony Bowl, Lon Brunk, Jeff Barton with you. The Gauchos up 7-0, a little bit of a surprise, but there's two key things here in the first two periods of play, Jeff. You have to look at field position and defense. For the Hornets, their first 4 possessions started at the 22, the 14, the 10, and the 4, and then it got worse. They went down to the 2. On 8 possessions, their position on the field averaged the 11-yard line, their own. For the Gauchos, they had their first 4 possessions, the Fullerton 35, the Fullerton 39, the Fullerton 49, the Fullerton 33, and out of that, with 4 turnovers, what they came up with was 7 points. So the Hornets still into it. First half stats.
Well, when the field position works the way it has in this game, you're going to see that there's not a lot of passing that can be done. And the Fullerton team, which normally does a really good job of throwing the ball, has only really thrown for 70 yards in the first half, well below their average. They've gotten a lot of yards rushing. They got 97 yards rushing, which is pretty good against a Gaucho defense that only given up 52 or 57 yards on average per game. On the other side, of course, only minus 5 yards for the Gauchos. That is not too unexpected, because Hornets have such a good rushing defense, and the Gauchos, we said, were one-dimensional, and it wasn't toward the run. On their passing, they have not done as well either. Both offenses have really been stymied here. I think the Gauchos have been stymied because of really good play by the defensive team of the Hornets. On the other side, the Hornets have probably hurt themselves, although it's been good defense by the Gauchos, and the fact that they start with their back to their own end zone so much, it really limits what you can do. In this half, if it goes the same way as it did in the first half, field position-wise, then the Hornets are going to have to take those chances that they did not take in the first half. They can go ahead and throw more when they're down on their own 1-yard line, when they're on their own 5. They're going to have to do that because they have to get some points on the board.
Well, the Hornets will kick off. The Gauchos, leading 7-0, will get the ball first. And how important is the first possession in the second half here of establishing what the tenor is going to be of the third and fourth periods of play?
Well, it establishes 2 things. First of all, it's going to establish momentum. If the defensive team, for example, in this case going to be Fullerton, can put the stops on them and be able to get the ball with good field position, which would be really great for their offense, then that really puts the momentum on their side. On the other hand, though, it's also going to show us what happens with the adjustments that were made at halftime by both staffs.
Well, the Gauchos have been holding teams about 10 points a game. Underway here, third period of play, a low line drive affair down to the 10-yard line. The Gauchos going off to the left side. He's got some blocking. He might go all the way back to the other side. Rick Frank chasing him along with Johnny Collard. A good run back on the other side. Number 43, Rodney Trammell. A great run back from his own 10-yard line. We talked about the first possession again, and one more time on their own accord this time, the Gauchos at the 33-yard line into Fullerton territory one more time, Jeff.
Boy, that sure makes it tough. That really does. They do a nice job. He moves to the outside. We're seeing the end of the run there as he went to the outside. He went up the middle and then broke to the outside. The defenders for the Hornets did not really break their pursuit angles back, and they got outrun. The Gauchos have great field position again.
And a Hornet defense back on the field one more time. The pitch outside here to Jason Smid. He's hit first by Pete Carter and knocked down. Carter, the freshman from Foothill High School, where many of the Foothill players go to Saddleback, so he's aware of some of these players, may have some personal grudge here. No gain, second down on the play, and again, no huddle for the Gauchos. Swinging back to the other side, the same pattern we've seen before. Smid with the ball, tackle again by Pete Carter. He says, wait a minute, I did it on the left side, I'll do it on the right side this time. So 2 downs, and let's see if they go with the hurry-up offense again. They do. So 2 downs, nets them about 2 yards, 3rd down and 8. Pitch to the other side, Smid will stop and throw, going for the end zone, and there's Chambers, can't get it, and neither can the receiver on the other side, number 85, Mike Balsis. So Schmid, we expected that from him. He did stop and throw it just a little bit short, and we have a Hornet down near the 3-yard line. Replay, Jeff.
Well, there we saw the end of the replay there where Jason threw it. Jason was a highly recruited quarterback coming out of high school. The Hornets wanted him, the Gauchos wanted him. Of course, he ended up going to Saddleback, and so they use him on that little pass a lot because he does have a good arm. We saw that same series, or the start of the series, of quick plays in the first half. If you remember, they had a sweep one way, and then they came back a sweep the other way, and they were just getting ready to do it again on the third play, and a penalty happened, and so one of their guards, we didn't get a chance to see it. So they go sweep, and they come back. They figure, now we set you up, and now we'll throw the ball.
That must have been a series they were looking for last time, and as we were taking a look at Jimmy Chambers on the coverage there, and it's hard to see exactly what the problem is. It looked like as he was turning around, may have injured himself as he kind of going back to his left, fell down initially. It looked like Jimmy was in pretty good interception position, but hit the ground down there. Coming away under some help, Bill Chambers, the fine trainer for the Fullerton College Hornets. And Jimmy looks favoring that right leg a little bit, Jeff.
Yeah, he does look like he's limping a little bit on his right leg. And usually when that happens, when he had to turn, he might have got his cleats planted and ended up twisting his knee a little bit on there. I'm sure that doesn't feel real good, but the fact that he's up and moving fairly unlabored is really a good sign. That would really be a bad point to the Hornet defense to lose Chambers. He's leading the team in interceptions. He's one of their mainstays.
That'll bring up a 4th down. About 8 yards to go. 32-yard line. Douglas going for it. Back to throw. Has a man open over the middle, and he has him, number 10. A good play with the ball fumbled away. Let's see if the Hornets come up with it. They do. It should be Hornet ball. Good catch by Kurt Woods. The Hornets shook it loose and picked it up. Second turnover for the Gauchos, the 23-yard line. It may be the break the Hornets looking for, but an injured Hornet down on the other side of the field too. We'll see if we can get a report on Jimmy Chambers, as well as the Hornet player down on the field right now. But the Hornet defense continues to play sparkling ball here in the 1984 Pony Bowl.
We're going to get a chance to see this. Any receiver coming across the middle knows he's taking his life in his hands, and this time he sure did. Great hit right back from the backside. It looked like Robbie Van Fleet was the first one to hit him, and then John Collard came and really put the punch on him from behind and jarred the ball loose. We were talking the first half, it was a real hard-hitting game, and they've come out and decided to play it exactly the same way.
Part of that hard-hitting Hornet defense, one of the members down, still have not been able to pick up a number on him. Bill Chambers out for the second play in a row this time and checking him out carefully over there.
The Hornets will finally get somewhat of a decent field position out of that turnover. You know, when they come out, I was thinking about that when it first got started, and I was almost afraid to say anything and have it be jinxed. But they get a good run back on, the Gauchos got a great run back on their kick return, and they're down there, and even if the defense stops them and holds them for the 4 downs, then they're still going to punt the ball, or they're going to give the ball to the Hornets in such terrible field position that they were going to be in trouble.
That looks like Johnny Collard again down for the 3rd game in a row. Well, a 56-yard kickoff return by Trammell, negated by the turnover. The Hornets have possession here, 23-yard line, their own, 1st down and 10. Mouw looking into the sun, one remaining back in Charles Ray. Back to throw, quick set, ball popped up into the air. Not room to be intercepted, but good defensive play. Mike Peel, coming from the left defensive tackle position, number 50.
You know, Alan Roman, the defensive back for the right defensive back, we're going to see the replay here as you see Rocky tries to throw that short, quick pass, and it gets batted away. Over on the left side, Kenny Nash was given a lot of room by Roman, number 45, and he's the one who made the nice interception, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him come back and work on it. He's given him another 5-6 yards now.
That offensive line for the Hornets, Knutson, Shermer, Katnick, Wade, and Sheriff had their hands full. As you said, going over here to Kenny Nash at the 28-yard line. Pickup of about 5 yards, make it 3rd down and 5, and well, you go outside for a couple series and you go to the outside and then you make a fake and go upfield is perhaps something they might be looking for later on in this 3rd period of play.
Well, exactly, and that's a good play for them. It picks up 5-6 yards for them. Those are always the way they want to have it done. You've got to try and pick up those 5 and 6 and control the ball and get 2, 3, 4 first downs in a row, and maybe the Hornet offense will be back into where it normally is.
And 3rd down and 5 for the Hornets from the 27-yard line. One remaining back in Swayze. Mouw with a big 3rd down here early in the 3rd period of play. Short drop again. He has his man short of the 1st down. Good defensive play. Kenny Nash with a gain of about 3, but not enough. That'll bring up 4th down. Saddleback defense, you have to give credit. Number 57, Wilkerson's been all over the place out there on that tackle again.
He really has good mobility for him. They're real high on him. And, of course, Saddleback has always had good linebackers. We're talking about Coach Butcher being able to develop them. The short pass, though, it's obvious that the Hornets have said that that's where we seem to be able to do best at, so we're going to come back and try and throw it. And if that first one hadn't been batted down, they would have had a first down.
Ostrander and Salinas back waiting at about their own 40. Fair catch called by Ostrander at the 35. So Rick Frank has to get it away again, and he's been an active Hornet today. And the Gaucho offense back on the field, although numerically their numbers were certainly not spectacular in the first half of play, Jeff. They did come up with the drive that they needed for 7 points.
Oh, we got a chance here. We got a celebrity here in the stands. Eric Dickerson from the Rams has come down to watch the game.
Well, the Gaucho running backs might take a hint from them. They're -5 total yards rushing. He's done a great job. A chance to break that 2003 rushing mark of O.J. Simpson's. He has 3 games to go. Back is Douglas. First down, backside pressure. Going long, he's got a man open at the 35. He gets away from Willie Mack at the 15. Excellent play. Catch made there by number 85 of the Gauchos. Mike Balsas in for that play. Simply got behind Willie Mack, and a great ball by Douglas down to the 16-yard line.
Well, there's a mark of a smart coaching staff. You remember that before we saw that that Jimmy Chambers, the Hornets' normal left cornerback, had twisted his knee a little bit, so they come back and attack him right away. Here's a replacement Mack, who just seen the lost side of the receiver, came up for the run play, and the Gauchos have another good field position with him.
Timeout called by the officials. A Hornet down on the other side. The 3rd Hornet down here in the afternoon, and I'm not sure if he went down after he went to the other side, but they're checking him over. Bill Chambers, and a busy man here in the second half of play. And again, as you said, it was a good play call, good execution by Douglas and Balsas. And Willie Mack, just into the game, found the man behind him. That is Willie Mack over on the other side. Not quite sure what happened to him, but they are carrying him off. We'll try to get a report from Ken Macko as soon as we can on John Collard, Jimmy Chambers, and Willie Mack. First down. The Gauchos into Hornet territory one more time at the 16-yard line. They lead it 7-0. 13 of 21, 150 yards for Mike Douglas. Back to throw. Pressure from the backside to Glenn. He's got a man. He's looking for him on the other side. Number 82, Tony Palomera, the tight end. But good coverage there by Pete Carter, 41. Tom Houts, number 48. So the linebackers dropping back to cover the tight end on that play.
Well, they had a corner blitz. On that play, the right cornerback, Liddell Glenn for the Hornets, came blitzing off from the right-hand side, which means you have one less DB, and to do that, you've got to take care of one of the receivers with the linebackers. In that case, Tom Houts had to run with the tight end going up, and he did a real good job.
Smidge to the bottom of your screen, Cage to the left, Eldridge the remaining back. Douglas, short drop, going long. Back there, good coverage by the Hornets, knocked down, going for a touchdown, but number 40 there to help out Tom Nglima. A seldom used defensive back, but he was right there on the play looking for Jason Smid, and Nglima did a great job. Almost came up with the interception.
We're going to get a chance to see it again. Nglima just came in for the injury that we just had to watch. So it's been interesting that they've had 3 cornerbacks back there, and the Gauchos have thrown there 3 or 4 times now just in this last run. Maybe Nglima's kind of dampened their expectations.
Last time the Gauchos were down here on 3rd down within field goal range, there was a sack. See if they try to avoid that. Obviously this time, Douglas back to throw. Pressure from the right side. Harrington has him. A sack one more time at the 28, and again pushes that field goal range a little further. They will mark it at the 25-yard line, and that's going to be a long field goal.
Here we get
the pressure from the right side.
The pressure again comes off from the right-hand side. That was not a matter of a stunt that just broke free. It was a matter of good technique from the pass rushers of grabbing the shoulders, pulling them across, and getting out to the quarterback. He's got a tough field goal. It hasn't got the great angle for it, and this is where he missed one earlier too.
This is going to be a little shorter. This will be a 42-yard attempt, so just a little bit longer, for about 3 yards. He missed off to the right last time. Rutkowski, 7 of 11. Looks like it is good. just barely crawled over the bar. A 42-yard field goal for the Gauchos. I think it was important, Jeff, that they come up with something on that possession after getting great field position.
Well, that's really true. You get, when you come out in the first play of the second half on a kick return to get 56 yards and you lose it on a turnover, come back on the second possession and get a wonderful pass play against a defensive back who had just got inserted in there, which is unfortunate for him. But then to come away with no points would have just been, it really could have been demoralizing.
So the sack this time does not push him back far enough, and Rutkowski, now 8 of 13 of the year, but that'll be the one he'll remember in his career here at Saddleback if it becomes a decisive field goal. 10-0, 10 minutes, 55 seconds to go here, third period of play. Saddleback has come out here playing just as well as they did in the first half, offensively, even better. Back for the Hornets, Swayze, also John Green, number 3. This one will go to Swayze. He'll pick it at the 3-yard line. He's got a line in front. Swayze pops through it to the outside with the good speed at the 40. Out of bounds at the 45-yard line. That is the best field position the Hornets have had all day long. They have yet to get into Gaucho territory. This may be the beginning of something big if you take a look at prior stats.
If they can keep, we get to see the run back, of course, we're going to see Damon come down. He waits for the hole to open up, bursts through, changes ball to the outside so he knows he won't be able to fumble it. It's real important that they don't turn it over with an interception or a fumble. Even if they don't get a first down and they punt it and they get the Gauchos down in that area, now the field position will have changed to Fullerton's side.
And the Gauchos, a 5-play drive culminating in a 42-yard field goal. They lead it 10-0. Best field position for the Hornets. Mouw back to throw. Pressure up the middle. He slips through to the outside. The sophomore has good speed into Gaucho territory. Knocked down inside the 45, the 43-yard line. Tackle made there by number 40, the Gauchos, Jepi Pa'u from the linebacker position, but not before Rocky Mouw picks up a Hornet first down. The first time they're into possession, into the Gaucho territory, Jeff.
Rocky has really shown the ability to avoid the rush, has he not? He shakes people off, still looking for his receiver, but then a good job of running outside. He's got good feet. He doesn't like to run, and that's good. You don't want quarterbacks who really like to run. You want him to throw, but when he has to, he does it, and he got the first down.
And he can throw at a new Hornet record, single season, 1,974 yards, breaking Dave Wilson's record. Skinner in motion. He goes back. Give it to Kevin Prisborowski. Ball loose, flopping around. Out of bounds. It may stay in possession of the Hornets. Last one to touch it was the Gauchos, but I don't think there was any possession. The Hornets dodge a bullet on that turnover.
Well, you know, of course, that in order to keep a fumble when it goes out of bounds, if no one's had possession, whichever team had total possession of it last gets to keep it. So in that case, they ended up picking up the 2 yards on it because the ball went out of bounds, and Fullerton rather had it last.
Well, the Hornets gained about 3 yards as it was flip-flopping in the little bit like a fish out of water on the other side, and it's finally slapped out of bounds. Second down and 7. Nash to the bottom, Grimm to the top. Remaining back, Charles Ray. The Hornets trying to get something going here in the 1984 Pony Bowl. Mouw back to throw. Protection much better to Nash. Inside the 30 to the 25-yard line. Inside the 20 to the 16. That's the best offensive play, and coincidentally, great offensive line play by the Hornets. Mouw had plenty of time.
Well, he sure did. He had a lot more time to throw the ball. We're going to get to see Kevin Nash come right in front of the screen here as he breaks to the inside, and the ball was thrown a little bit behind him. Look at him take that ball away from the Gaucho defender. He was not going to be denied on that play.
Kenny Nash's second reception that time, his longest of the afternoon. First down for the Hornets, 17-yard line. They trail it 10-0. Second back through. Ray pops to the outside, maybe a gain of 2. Met there by a host of the Gauchos, number 91 in on the tackle also, Neil Wallner.
You run that type of play because if it breaks, it's great, but you run it because you've got to keep them honest. When you've been moving the ball in the air, you've got to keep them honest by running the ball. It helps set up the play-action plays where you fake the run, that holds the linebackers and opens up those seams, which is exactly why Kevin got open on that last play, hit that seam.
Rich Rollins in for the Hornets, number 85, the bottom of your screen. He brings in a play from the sideline. Mouw, second down and 9. Prisborowski in motion, blitz on from the Gauchos, steps up inside, but he can't get away this time. Number 89 for the Gauchos, firing in there is Alika Luesa, a linebacker. coming in there and doing a great job, and they simply put too much pressure that time. They brought everybody.
Well, and Rocky's probably pretty upset. I think what happened is that one of the receivers did not run the route that he was supposed to do, because they had two receivers in the same exact area, and that shouldn't happen as we see him get sacked. The offensive line gave him the time to throw the ball. You can't expect him to hold him out for 10 seconds. In that case, he had 3-4 seconds to be able to throw the ball. That's about all the time an offensive line can be expected to give him.
Yeah, they say if they give you 4 seconds, you ought to have time to uncover if you're a receiver. That'll bring up a 3rd down, 17 yards to go. Back to the 34, Mouw under pressure. He's sacked, throws the ball away, but they're going to say he was in the grass right back there at the 33-yard line. Number 40 coming in one more time, Yepi Pau, doing a great job, the freshman from the linebacker position. The Saddleback defense, what can you say? They've done a great job against a Hornet offense that averages over 35 points a game, and that'll bring in Rick Frank. He'll set it down at the 40, just outside the 40, and you say, come on, that's a 50-yarder. He's made 2 of 2 this season. The All-American candidate, 92 points on the season. Tom Duarte, second-string quarterback, will hold it. It's down. It looks like it'll be just a little short. No, it's good. Rick Frank, it just crawls over just like it did for Rutkowski. So the Hornets and the Gauchos swap field goals. We have a score, 10-3, 7 minutes, 25 seconds to go. 3rd period of play. What a weapon it is to have a guy like Rick Frank.
Boy, it really is. And I'll tell you, it is very important for the Hornets to have gotten those points on the board. You just can't keep going that long and not have it done, and it's going to give some confidence back to their offensive group.
Let's go down quickly to Ken Macko on the sideline. Macko will get back to Kenny. We get that audio problem straightened out, and there's Rick Frank setting it up one more time, just about ready to kick it off. And we'll try to get to Kenny. I think we're going to have an injury update on some of those Hornets injured in that last defensive series. There he is, a little bit over 50 yards. Rick Frank kicks it away, and it's picked up by Trammell. 56-yard return last time. He pops to the outside one more time. Collard has to make the tackle, and he's at the 47-yard line. Trammell is doing a great job. They've been setting up that left side return, and the last 2 times it's paid off for the Gauchos. All right, Kenny, one more time. You got that audio fixed?
Saddleback at the 47-yard line.
3rd time may be the charm. Ken, keep on working on it. Kick it a couple times, step on it. Another great field position for the Gauchos. We've been saying it all day long. They lead 10-3. They're at their own 46-yard line. Douglas gives it to Salinas off the right side. He stays on his feet, fights away into Hornet territory at the 45-yard line. Pickup of 8 yards for Salinas, and he made that all on his own.
Well, he did a nice job of breaking the tackle right at the line of scrimmage. It looked like the Hornets had him boxed in. Put down that 3rd leg when he puts down his arm, kept his balance, and came outside. That's a big 1st down. That's better than they've done on most of their 1st down plays, because they've always been facing themselves with a 3rd and long type situation. Now they got 2nd and short. They've got a down to waste here.
They have Todd Cage to the top, Kurt Woods to the bottom, the lone back, number 44, Roger Brown. 2 tight ends, Palomera to the right. Back to throw. Douglas looking for a man. He finds Wood, but it hits the ground. Wood pops up and says, I have it. The official in the back says, nope, I think I saw it hit the turf and pop up back into your hands. That'll still bring up a 3rd down and short, though, for Saddleback, and good field position again for the Hornets on that last drive, one of their longer drives of the day, the first time they were into Gaucho territory. 7 plays, 50-yard field goal culminated, and they held the ball for 4 minutes and 30 seconds. They have not had that luxury most of the game. In fact, they've been having trouble hanging on to it at all, with 3 interceptions and a fumble here in the first 3 quarters of play. Douglas again, same basic offensive set over the right side to Roger Brown. Fights inside the 45 to the 43, and should be a 1st down for the Gauchos.
The Gauchos have now come back, have broken their pattern here. They come back and working the right side. They work the right side on the run here just to get the 1st down. And of course, they're working the left cornerback, which would be to their right side offensively, because that's a new player. with Inglima in there, and on the second down play that was incomplete, Inglima did an excellent job of staying with that wide receiver. Douglas wanted to hit him a lot sooner, but Inglima was all over him.
Sussenjar to the bottom, Cage to the top. The Hornets changing up defensively. Lone back Salinas. He gives it to Salinas off the left side. Tackle over there made by 69 Steve Summers. He made the initial hit. Short gain for Salinas of about 2, make it 2nd down and 8. Also in on the tackle, number 41, as he usually is, Pete Carter, a freshman from Foothill High School.
Carter did a real nice job of what's called scraping. When he's in his linebacker position, he's going to stunt to the outside hole there, and he's got to come right off the rear end of his defensive tackle. So he's got to scrape right up there tight. If he doesn't do it tight, it gives a hole. That time he went real tight and just met him right in the line of scrimmage.
Well, the Hornets have number 40, Tom Inglima, at that cornerback. They're down 3 deep with injuries. The Chambers, sack made on the backside. Coming in, number 48, Tommy Houts, and Douglas had no chance at all.
Tom Houts once again, he must have 4 or 5 sacks today. He has really done an outstanding job. That middle of the line has not figured out how to stop him. We're going to see him here. He comes from the left of your screen, picks a hole, and went right through. The original, he made a nice adjustment. He went to the guard tackle gap, and it was closed. And that's where his stunt was supposed to go. He saw the opening inside one gap more. He makes that sidestep in, and it really paid dividends for him.
And Saddleback with a big 3rd down for them at the 45-yard line. He elects to take a timeout here in the 3rd period of play. And they're up 10-3 over the Hornets. And again, the story is defense. The Hornets defense has played well. Even though they have given up 10 points, it's really been field position for the Gaucho that has paid off. The Gaucho defense, too, only giving up 3 points through this time span. A team averaging 35.4 points per game. The Hornets, only 3 so far. That has to be the surprise of the afternoon. Okay, now look, Ken, we gave you 2 chances. We'll give you 1 more shot. Let's go down to Ken on the sideline.
Some bad news for Hornet fans. Both defensive backs, Willie Mack and James Chambers, are out with knee injuries. It looks like torn ligaments. They'll have to wait till they get back to x-ray them. They'll be out of the game for the rest of the day. Back upstairs to Jeff and Lon.
Well, it's been a while, Ken, but I thought you'd still remember who we were. Tom Inglima, as we said, number 40, the left cornerback, a man who's now in there. And on the depth chart, he's number 3. You have Willie Mack, the 2nd man in that depth, and he's down shotgun. The Hornets show a little blitz here, 3rd down and 12 from the 45. Douglas has Eldridge remaining. He goes back. Here comes Summers, 69. Flushes him out. Ball away. Hits the ground first. Incomplete. And the Hornets came through with number 69, Steve Summers, as he usually does from that right defensive end position, to simply flush Douglas out of the pocket, made him go left, throwing right. That's a difficult thing to do.
Really tough to do, and of course he saw the pressure. He knew that Houts and Carter were going to come right up the middle over the center. We're going to get a chance to see it again. Blitz right up the center. Summers almost has him back here. He sidesteps away and has to throw. That means that the Gauchos are only 2 of 10 on 3rd down conversions.
Lemaire into punt now, as the Gauchos use a lot of people on special teams for kicking. John Lemaire, number 75 back there, kicking from his own 45-yard line. Back to receive John Green at the 7. John Green back up through the middle. He stays on his feet, fights forward to the 29-yard line. A 22-yard return for John Green. And although the Hornets look better here in the second half of play, they've only been able to come up with 3 points, but they appear to be a little more spirited, a little more fired up here in the 3rd period, Jeff.
Well, it seemed like everything was going wrong for them offensively. Every time they got a chance to run back a kick, they got stopped right away. We're going to see the return here. Here's an example of John taking that ball maybe where he shouldn't have, does a great job of running up through the middle. You think he would have let that go, but it ended up being a good move for him.
That's where the coach is yelling, no, 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 no. Great job. 1st and 10 from the 30. Nose of the football right there. Switches. Mouw rolls out to the right, and we're going to have a holding call, I believe, on the Hornets. On the backside, Mouw is tackled for a 7-yard loss, but holding may be the call. Steve Lamoth, number 21, coming up from the safety position, blitzing. That will be a penalty against the Hornets. The play looked a little confusing at the beginning. Maybe it might have been a design rollout to the right, but it looked like there was some confusion over exactly what was supposed to happen.
Do you remember the pass that was intercepted when Rocky rolled over in the first half and he had the tight end open and he overthrew him and let that ball go? We just see that they're going with the holding call. That was exactly what that same pass was. It's a fake to one side, and then he rolls back over to the other side. A lot of teams call it a waggle or a throwback or rollback. And the guard, the offside guard, left guard, is supposed to pull out and block that defensive end. In that case, the defensive end on that right side came through really hard and really made Rocky stumble, so he didn't get out of there free.
And because of the 7-yard loss, brings up a 2nd and 17 for the Hornets. Gauchos declined that penalty. So that's sacked by 21. Steve Lamothe will hold up. They show blitz, and it may be too much time for the Hornets. 2nd penalty in a row. This one will be accepted. Either a procedure, it is a procedure call against the Hornets, and right now, Jeff Barton, they are their own worst enemies.
Well, that's really true. That's their fourth. That's only their 4th penalty, but it's not so much the number of the penalties as the timing of the penalty. They really had the penalty they've had 2 penalties that have been declined, so really it'd be almost 6 penalties for them in the game. The left tackle for the Hornets moved a little bit prematurely. Rocky was trying to audibilize out, and apparently he missed the snap count.
That'll bring it back even further this time. 2nd down and 22 for the Hornets, starting to getting a little longer. Rich Rollins in motion to the bottom. Mouw back to throw. Pretty good protection this time, but it breaks down, and so does Mouw, down at the 10-yard line. Coming through again, number 67 for the Gauchos, James Castle. That defensive lineman, only 5'9", but coming up with a good size. And again, the offensive line for the Hornets gave him 3 or 4 seconds, but Mouw just couldn't pull the trigger.
Well, he's taking a good 7-step drop. His first receiver was covered. As he started to look for a second receiver, he got pressure right up the middle. It wasn't as long a time as he'd like to have. The Hornets have been having a little trouble keeping the Gauchos out. They've got to try and spread them out. We haven't seen those quick passes again either, too. It might open it up, but with 3rd down and long at your own back door, it's trouble.
3rd down and 30, they must go to the 40. They're back at their 10-yard line. Mouw back to throw one more time. He's got Charles Ray over here at the 10-yard line. Ray finds the seam, fights his way forward to the 23, but that'll be very short of the 1st down. Should bring up a 4th down and long for the Fullerton College Hornets, and that'll bring in Rick Frank.
Well, when you've been getting a lot of pressure, one way to try and get away from it is to throw the screen. They set it up well. Chuck Ray runs the screen about as well as any junior college back I've seen. He does a nice job of using his blockers and gets acceleration upfield. A good game, but nowhere near the yardage they needed.
So Rick Frank back inside of his own 10. Gauchos back here. We have movement all over the place, and flags go flying. Rick Frank hangs onto the ball in disgust, and that may be another Hornet penalty. Let's see what the discussion is back there.
One of the linemen moved for the. Now the reason it's waved off is that the linemen are in a 2-point stance, so they can move. They can move as long as they're set for a second before the time that the ball is snapped. The defense tries to draw him offside. One of the Hornets moved, number 96 moved on him, but he can move and get set again, so it's an inadvertent flag.
Craig Ostrander back there along with John Salinas. No pressure on Rick Frank, but he shanks it to the side. Salinas catches it at the 47-yard line. A short punt by Rick Frank. The Gauchos in a position to do just about anything they want offensively right now because of the spot on the field.
Well, you know, like we said, when things go wrong, sometimes they seem to just keep going wrong. Rick Frank normally is just an exceptional punter, and he'll get 45 to 50 yards on a punt. And so far today, he really has not unleashed anything when he could have pushed him back a little bit farther and given the Hornets a little bit better field position.
Mike Douglas and the Gauchos come up. Salinas, the remaining back, single back, trips up to the top of the screen. They give it to Salinas. He trips over his own man, falls forward to the midfield stripe, give him a gain of about 2. Looked like the guard coming over on the other side, number 63, Mark Fedrick. He might have just caught the bottom of that Nike cleat or whatever.
Well, he wanted to try and run to the left, and he saw that there was all clogged up, and made his decision a little bit late to try and cut back over to the right, do the shuffle step. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Gauchos come out and go after number 40 and Glima over here on the left corner. He's third deep for him over there, although they've only got one receiver on his side now. 2nd down, about 8. Lowitz meets John Salinas. Hello, how are you? Right there in the backfield, and that exchange was barely made before number 70, the sophomore from Esperanza High School, Adam Lowitz, came pouring in there.
And again, the Hornet defense doing a good job. Replay, Jeff.
Well, this is just a good job of getting around your block. Lowitz just does a beautiful job of sidestepping his man and met him right at the exchange. If he's there one fraction of a second before that, there's a fumble.
And John Salinas did hang on to it. He will come out along with Sussenjar. Schmidt to the bottom of your screen. Jason, number 11. Eldridge, the remaining back, slots off to the left. Douglas under pressure, going long. He has a man, but he can't quite bring it down at the 40-yard line. Looking for number 40 on that side, or is that number 10, Kurt Woods it is. And he rolls out of bounds on the Hornets sideline over there. And that will bring up a 4th down for the Gauchos. Hornet defense holds one more time, hoping the offense can get it together. But the Gaucho defense, in my mind, Jeff, has to be the top story of the afternoon.
Oh, they've done a very good job of shutting down a real powerful offense, at least so far. And Fullerton's got type of offense that could come back to life anytime, and I'm sure that Coach Butcher for the Gauchos is aware of that.
Lamar back to punt it. Standing at the 20-yard line. Damon Swayze, ball is loose. Lamar tries to get it away. He's going to have to eat it back down.
That's just the type of break that you need to have from your defense, isn't it? Time and time again, Fullerton's defense has seemed to be able to come up with the plays that they need to keep them in the game, to win the football games. And I'm not saying they're winning this game now, that's for sure, because they have to put the points on the board. But that's a big turnaround there. Fullerton really needs to go in and get some sort of points out of this drive.
And they had Lamar in there last time, 75, but that was number 95, Andrew Keiss, back in, and he simply just dropped the snap. It wasn't a bad snap from center, Rodney Leota, but he simply dropped it. The Hornets have great field position just inside the 35. Let's call it the 34-yard line. They trail 10-3. Seconds running out in the 3rd period of play. Pitch out to Damon Swayze to the top. Damon pops to the outside, but a great defensive play. Number 89, again, Aleka Leausa, coming from the linebacker position. Him and Pa'u'u, a broadcaster's nightmare.
Say that 3 times fast. He did an excellent job of finding the gap and cutting through. And again, the Hornets have gotten caught with an illegal block, probably a crackback block. Penalties can just tear a coach's hair out. They may not take this penalty, though, because they got a loss on the play. It'd be a 2nd down. I'd be surprised if they took it. I think they're going to decline it.
And again, as we said earlier, seeing most of the Fullerton College games, they will take this one. It's a big one, a 15-yarder. They'll march it off, so instead of being inside the 35, it'll be just inside the 50 into Gaucho territory. That's going to bring up a 1st down and 25 yards to go. And that makes it tough for you right there. So the Gaucho defense, although the special teams turned it over to the Hornets, they've done their job there on that 1st down. Even though they got the loss, you throw on the penalty, 15 yards. The Hornets, again, creating a lot of problems for themselves penalty-wise.
Well, it takes them out of field goal range, which is why they take the penalty, because the Hornets could take 3 field goals, and come back and win this game if they can keep them scoreless. So they've got to get back into field goal position at least.
They're out of range even for Rick Frank. In motion, Prisborowski. Mouw back to throw, blitz up the middle. He's flushed out, now he has to throw long. Looking for Ray, should be a reception at the 30-yard line. Chuck Ray with the ball being just a little bit short, held up and came up with the play as the 3rd period ends here at LaBarge Stadium. The 1984 Pony Bowl, as we crack a seal on the 4th period here. The Gauchos up 10-3, and well, that was one of the more exciting plays. And again, the Gaucho defense flushed Mouw out of the pocket.
Well, he gets pressure again. Rocky does a nice job of getting away, and he puts it up there in a desperation pass. Great play by Chuck Ray to come back, not only to come back and make the reception, but to keep his feet in bounds as long as he had possession. What they're trying to do there is they're getting a man-to-man defense from the Gauchos, so they want to get a linebacker having to cover Chuck Ray one-on-one. It's a good plan. It's nice to work, but you need time from your quarterback because he's got to have time to outrun him. And so if you don't have time to do that, it's not going to work as effectively as they can.
That's the kind of play there as you see the score, 10-3 Gauchos, beginning of the 4th period. A 20-yard pass play. Rocky Mouw to Charles Ray, number 25. As Charles leaves, Damon Swayze comes back in. And going from a 1st and 25 to a 2nd and 5, Well, that's a nice first down play.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what it is, isn't it? You want 5 yards on your first down play, and you're real happy with that. But they're back now. They've made up for that penalty. They need to just keep and play solid football. They've got to keep their heads about them. They've got to be confident in themselves, and that's hard to do when you haven't been able to be as productive during the day as you'd like.
And the Gauchos, again, defensively did their job. The ball underthrown, and Charles Ray came back to get it split backs. Prisborowski and Swayze. Grimm to the bottom. Mouw back to throw. Has Kenny Nash. Kenny does a little shake and bake, but has the first down to the 20-yard line.
They're still giving Kenny a lot of room. We've talked about that a lot during the day. That's a type of pass that is dangerous when you see him. If it gets picked off, of course, no one's going to catch the defensive back, and there'll be 6 points. We get a chance to see it again. A quick look over. Kenny makes a nice job on the play. Almost broke loose there. Shake and bake. I like that. That's what he's trying to do for sure.
Well, Kenny with 28 receptions for 526 yards leads the Hornets and pretty good speed. So if that side over there playing just a little bit soft, they respect the talents of that young man. Roman has Rollins to the top. Skinner in motion to the bottom this time. Give the Swayze off the left side. He pops over the left side, stays on his feet for 11 yards inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. A play that perhaps should have only had maybe 2 or 3 yards at most.
Oh, that was an incredible cut. I mean, how does a back be able to make that shuffle step? We saw the back for Gauchos try to do that, didn't make it. Watch Damon get the ball here, little pitch right there. He makes that shuffle step over to the outside. It's about you can't see it from that angle, but it actually travels about 4 yards to the side, and he's still at full speed. That doesn't seem to make sense.
First down for the Hornets inside the 10, their best position of the afternoon against the Gauchos. 14 minutes, 3 seconds to go, fourth period of play. Mouw sends Ray in motion, coming back to the bottom. Move over to this side, eludes one blocker, stays on his feet at the 15, 10, 5, still up, and he's hit by Lameau, then knocked back, face down in the dirt at the 5-yard line. But the tough sophomore from Ontario Christian pops up and says, what is it, second or third?
Oh my golly, he took a shot. You know, that's where he didn't see him coming. Normally you see a quarterback try and go outside. We're going to get a chance again to see it. He puts Chuck in motion. That's who he wants to hit. He avoids the tackle right there. He's trying to tell Chuck to go to the end zone. He sees it's time to carry it. There he makes a nice move. He didn't see that one coming though.
At the 4-yard line, second down and goal for the Hornets. They have to score. No first down here. Backs Leo Garan, number 34. Damon Swayze, 32. Prisborowski in a slot, in motion to the top. Pitch play, outside. Swayze eludes one, but can't get away from the mold at the 11-yard line. Gaucho defense rising to the occasion.
Well, we talked at the beginning of the game about how the Gaucho defense during the year had been a kind of a rubber band defense, although they hadn't shown it today. They usually give up a lot of yardage, but when you get down inside that 10-yard line, they've got one of the best goal line defenses around, and they were uncovered totally over there. They do a great job of defending their own goal line.
And there you saw the replay, the defensive player of the game, at least in my eyes, Jay Wilkerson, number 57. And he's the man that pushed Swayze to the outside and allowed safety man Lameau to come over and make that tackle. But credit that to number 57, Jay Wilkerson. Freshman defensive end doing a great job. Third down and goal from the 11. Splitbacks under pressure. Over the middle, they go to Charles Ray, but it'll be short at the 3-yard line. Well, it was a quick read by Rocky Mouw. And let's see what they call here. That'll be a fourth down for the Hornets. We'll be back with more exciting Pony Bowl action right after this.